don't know who.
Speaking of all this, the number of CEOs visiting the president-elect continues to grow. Sarah is here with some news this morning on Softbank. Morning, Sarah.
Good morning, guys. So yes, we've learned, according to sources familiar with the matter, that Massa's son, the CEO of Softbank, is at Mar-a-Lago today, and he and the president-elect are going to be out with a huge announcement this morning that Massa will commit to investing $100 billion in the United States between now and 2029, the end of President Trump's term, and that he is also pledging to create jobs, 100,000 jobs with this announcement. This may sound a little familiar to you because back in 2016, Massa's son went to Trump Tower and he pledged half of that, $50 billion investment with 50,000 jobs to be created in the United States. That was at the time where he was raising money and had just created the Vision Fund. And so that money did get fulfilled in terms of investments in the United States in hundreds of company investments that the Vision Fund made, including, of course, WeWork. Didn't turn out so well. But ultimately, he can say promise fulfilled on that one. This one, much more ambitious. So I've learned that we can expect this announcement come later this morning. And it's obviously a big deal for President-elect Trump, who's trying to create investment and jobs.
Sarah, is he wants money coming in and jobs being created through, typically, I think in his mind, manufacturing. You know, people making things in factories, or maybe at companies. I just wonder, you referenced the $50 billion that was invested from the Vision Fund into many private companies 8-9 years ago, or over that period of time. I don't know how many jobs that creates.
It's hard to calculate how many jobs.
Is it going to be the same thing this time?
Not necessarily. So what I've learned is this one is going to be really focused on AI, because we know Massa has been very public lately about how bullish he is on AI. And from what I understand, it could also come in the form of capital investments around AI infrastructure. Think data centers, chips, energy production, what's needed around AI to build in this country. So that's more along the lines of what you said President-elect Trump probably would be interested in. But this president is a lot more focused, I would say, on technology and AI, certainly than he was last time around. He's got David Sachs as the czar on AI and crypto. He's now met or will meet with a lot of the big CEOs in technology. So I feel like this announcement actually around AI is very much on par with what the president-elect is thinking about and hearing about from supporters and advisors.
He's definitely been, you know, I don't know, did you see those comments from Mark Andreessen about the Biden administration and their approach to AI and how different it's going to be? He seemed very frustrated with that. Although I would point out, data centers do not employ many people. Building them, you get some people, but ultimately when they're up and running,
capital intensive, so they a lot of investment.
Yes, a lot of investment, not a lot of jobs. This is 100,000 jobs, though, right?
100,000 jobs, along with $100 billion, which is a very large number.
The one area of the economy we do not need money for is AI. Everyone's throwing money at AI. They are. I mean, look, we need semi. If we want to, especially Intel needs money. They don't have the money to do what they're doing.
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah, and that would be terrific. To fulfill that desire would be great. Rather have private than public money in that.
Yeah,
public money found its way into Intel.
It's true, and we know that they've committed, for instance, to investing in OpenAI. This could obviously be part of that investment. They have ARM, which there could be investments of obviously in the chipmaker as well as part of that. But the reason I think it's politically so good and important, not just is it investment in the United States, which Trump himself has been soliciting and is a sign of faith and bullishness in that message, but also keeping AI in the leadership hands of the United States of America.
I'm glad you had the story. I'm very glad you broke the story.
Although, don't you wonder whether they would have invested it anyway, and it's just a good opportunity?
We don't know what the prior benchmark was.
You know how this goes.
This is, I mean, he's got the Vision Fund. This is where you invest it, because frankly, there are a handful, but very few other places where you can invest in
companies. But now you get in the good graces of the president.
Don't forget the ARM Qualcomm lawsuit starts today.
Yes, that's actually a good point.
Qualcomm loses. Nice to meet you.
Sarah, we'll see you later this morning.